Coming up on Mountain News at 6, one Kentucky sheriff's office has seized so much fentanyl in the last 5 years, they say it could kill about 500,000 people. And officials with one Eastern Kentucky fiscal court are allowing those with ATVs to use certain county roadways. We'll tell you why.
Plus, we stay warm in the short term, but a cooler weekend is on the way. Your first alert forecast coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
We begin this half hour with a developing story out of Laurel County. Police have identified the man who they say was shot by police. Kentucky State Troopers say 31-year-old Dylan S. Sutherland is facing 4 counts of attempted murder of a police officer. Troopers say Sutherland led London Police Department officers and Laurel County Sheriff's deputies on a car chase, during which they say he fired a gun out of the window at the officers. The chase ended when Sutherland's car eventually crashed. Police say he then fired the gun at police again, but this time they began firing back. Troopers say Sutherland was eventually arrested and given first aid. He was taken to the University of Kentucky Hospital. He is now at the Laurel County Correctional Center. A Central Kentucky Sheriff's Department is sending out the alarm on the deadly consequences of illegal drug use. The Madison County Sheriff says within 5 years, they have seized enough fentanyl to kill hundreds of thousands of people. Those drugs are off the streets, but the problems remain. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what police are seeing and the help available to those struggling.
There's a place in Lexington that offers hope. In fact, some there are called hope dealers.
That's the thing that impacts me the most because I've lost friends to fentanyl overdoses, and they just were unaware that they were even doing fentanyl. And
the things we're seeing now are...
Tony Terry is the chief deputy for the Madison County Sheriff's Office and says fentanyl seizures with both local agencies and task forces are very alarming.
2.2 pounds is a kilogram. That's enough to kill 500,000 people.
Madison County deputies seized nearly 8 pounds over the past 5 years. Terry says that would have killed more than 2 million.
So easy to access and so many ways that they use it now. You know, it's mixed with a lot of the pills.
They may have been in college, they may be partying, their friends may be doing it, different things like that. I don't think anyone gets into that lifestyle like wanting to go and do like dangerous drugs like fentanyl. It just kind of progresses over time.
Sheriff's deputies then see the dangerous impacts from traffic stops to within homes. It's all over the community.
The drug users don't know sometimes that they're getting that. And that's the unfortunate part is whenever they put that into their body, they don't survive.
If they do, people at Voices of Hope say they have a plan to help them.
We as a community need to get better to help people get in recovery and help people be more aware of the dangers of fentanyl.
The best advice is to avoid illegal drugs altogether. Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Madison County Sheriff's deputies say 2 milligrams of fentanyl, about the size of a pencil lead, is enough to be a lethal dose. A Pike County man is facing several charges after police say he threatened to harm his wife and first responders. Officers were called out to an apartment complex on Hambly Boulevard in Pikeville yesterday. A witness told police that the woman's husband was arguing with her and throwing items at her while trying to destroy their apartment. Police went to the apartment where Gerald Tackett was staying and were eventually able to arrest him.
We are tracking some more nice weather as we go into your Tuesday evening, all thanks to high pressure. Here's a live look from the London Corbin Airport, and as you can see, not a cloud in the sky as the sun sets on this Tuesday. That current temperature up to 58 degrees. Up on the radar, nothing happening as high pressure is the big story on this Tuesday. So as a result, we are tracking some well above average weather. We should be close to 50. Most of us right now in the middle to upper 50s, up to 59 for Manchester. Also in Harlan, 57 for Jackson, and 53 over in Pike County at this hour. As we go into this evening, all thanks to a clear sky and a calm wind, those temperatures are going to tumble. Most of us wake up close to freezing. in the middle to lower 30s as you walk out the door on Wednesday. One more really nice day on the way tomorrow, but as you can see, those rain chances are not far away. We see some more rain, also some more windy weather as we go into your Thursday, and once that system passes, a little bit cooler as we go into your weekend. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thank you. The Senate Standing Committee on Families and Children heard more today about the Horizons Act. Senate Bill 203 is a $300 million early childhood education proposal introduced by Senator Danny Carroll. The legislation is designed to help sustain the child care industry once post-COVID funding runs out. Senator Carroll says Kentucky has lost 1,700 providers during the last decade, creating a child care crisis that must be fixed before it gets even worse.
My proposal is that we don't just step up. We take a big swing at this and we knock the ball out of the park, and we send a message to our kids, to our families, to our businesses, large and small, current, future, and we send a message to our providers that they're important, to our teachers that they're important.
According to Kentucky Youth Advocates, about 20% of the state's child care centers are now at risk of closing. Data from the Cabinet for Health and Family Services in Kentucky shows an increase in respiratory illnesses statewide, including here in our region. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox talked to a healthcare professional about how they are battling sickness right now.
Multiple viruses are continuing to spread all at once.
We're seeing a different type of respiratory illnesses. We're seeing 3 going on at the same time. Flu A and B, we're seeing a lot of COVID-19, and we're seeing RSV.
Dr. Cotter says some patients have been taken to the hospital due to complications.
We even have patients in the hospital right now with COVID-19, at least 5. But here in the clinic, we've seen a lot of cases of influenza A or flu A.
Cotter urged community members to be cautious before going to work if they feel sick.
We're seeing more and more cases for people coming in at work while they are sick and infecting others. So the message is, if you are sick, don't come to work with a fever and upper respiratory illness because you can infect others.
The doctor also urged folks it is not too late to receive a vaccine.
The vaccine we have are pretty effective still. Like the COVID booster we have right now, it's still good for the new variant. For the flu shot, they make the vaccine based on last year's wave, and it's effective.
Cotter says early warning signs can include nasal congestion or a fever. In Whitesburg, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Officials with the Cabinet for Health and Family Services also say hospitalizations for respiratory illnesses are high. About 6% of people in the U.S. as of 2021 have a food allergy that could lead to potentially life-threatening allergic reactions. Now, a drug used for asthma may increase patients' tolerance to those life-threatening allergens. Xolair is a shot injected every 2 or 4 weeks and can reduce the severity of allergic reactions. One Scott County allergist is excited about the research and believes this will make a real difference for her patients.
The quality of life from the stress and anxiety of it, I think, is going to be the biggest and most important thing. Instead of a kid having a reaction to eating a third of a peanut, which is a really tiny amount of a peanut, they were able to tolerate up to 2.5 peanuts.
Xolair can be given to patients as young as 1 year old. The cost is between $2,900 and $5,000 a month, depending on if the patient is an adult or child, but it is covered by insurance. Pike County is making changes to some of the county's roadways to allow more travelers to hit the trails. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more from today's Pike County Fiscal Court meeting.
An ordinance established by the Pike County Fiscal Court regulating the use of off-highway vehicles on the county road system and with state approval of certain other public highways.
The Pike County Fiscal Court had its second reading Tuesday of a roadway access ordinance to boost adventure tourism.
And this is part of the state legislation that will allow us to expand the trail system.
Allow people who are coming to the trail system to get to lodging, to get to gasoline, food, a drugstore.
The proposed ordinance would allow ATVs on some of the county roadways. hoping to provide better access to the county's hillbilly trails.
The number one question is, where can we lodge and ride to the ATV trail without trailering our off-highway vehicle every time we go to and from the trail system?
Those on the Trails Advisory Board say the ordinance is not about opening all of the roadways to all ATVs, but connecting riders with the resources needed to enjoy trails more conveniently.
At the current time, we're asking for Elkhorn Creek from the south trailhead of the Hillbilly Trail system in the Elkhorn Creek area down to Elkhorn City, which is a trail town already.
With a slew of safety requirements in place, like working headlights, tail lights, rear view mirrors, and insurance.
If your vehicle isn't capable of being insured, you probably don't want to put it out on public highway.
The county is also petitioning the Transportation Cabinet to allow access on some of the state-maintained roads to make access a priority.
If we don't put these in place, we're not going to draw those riders to our trail system.
Opening the roads to bring in the riders. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The second reading of the county ordinance was approved unanimously. Officials say once the petition is filed for the state road access, the cabinet will do its own studies to decide if any state highway access will be permitted.
Well, we are tracking one more sunny day tomorrow, but those rain chances, they are back by Thursday, timing out those showers after this break. Plus,
a lunar landing later this week has ties to Eastern Kentucky. We'll tell you what university is playing a role in tracking the return to the moon.